welcome to Mentor. I'm Rachel Ford.
And I'm Marco Bertozzi.
Hello. Well, Marco,
my voice went up there. Very high. Sorry.
No,
Keep it down. Keep it down.
Hello, Marco. Welcome. So, what have we got coming up today?
We have got an amazing speaker, person, podcast guest, friend, colleague,
legend of the advertising industry,
Kathryn Jacob OBE, and a fascinating. Well, of course, we're going to talk to lots of great guests, but an incredible career, and I think we learned some amazing stuff. I mean, the first thing for me was, if you're not wearing the right shoes, change them.
Yeah. Get out of those ski boots and put on some.
Get out of the ski boots. You're going to have to listen to work out what that actually means.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it's about your career choices.
She was very much as well, incredibly modest, and
very
the
modest,
way she to serve, to lead. She's very much a team player, and it's about the team, not her. But she has set an amazing culture in the way that her leadership.
I don't think she realises, how rare that environment is actually, in truth.
And that's even then, and even she's written 3 books. So to hear...
And an author.
The inspiration behind her 3 books. We've got a great podcast coming up.
Yeah, looking forward to that. But I think before we get into that, we like to sort of reflect on some of the things going on in the world. And this one was sort of close to my heart because it was the Andrew Tate podcast on Spotify. We won't tell you too much about the actual detail of it because it's pretty abhorrent. But, I think it's amazing that we're still at a place where 92,000 people have to sign a petition to get it removed from Spotify. I mean, it reminded me, and it's interesting in the press release, now they have removed that particular episode, not all of his content. It reminded me of when Spotify took on Joe Rogan when I was there, and internally there's the equivalent of a Facebook group for the whole of Spotify internally, and there was, and in their press release they said, this isn't this doesn't reflect sort of internal complaints, but the truth is, as happened with Joe Rogan, and I'm sure happened with this, there is huge amounts of resistance to this kind of content being on Spotify. They'll use the same playbook. They'll do the Facebook playbook, which is, we don't want to be the arbiters of free speech. We don't want to control, we don't want to be the decision makers on this. But I can't help but think, can't we just be just a bit human and acknowledge this is absolutely not appropriate content by anyone's stretch of the imagination.
These poor boys that are just fed this dirge of horrific content, and this is where they're learning. And my 16-year-old, she really got it. She said, he felt it was inadequate, and he's, at that he was 13. They're soaking up, they're like sponges, and if they're just soaking up all this shit, then it's a real and
the 2 takeaways for me are, 1, we don't need the likes of Spotify amplifying this sort of content, and 2, I'm reading and hearing and seeing more and more about the sort of the lost generation of these young boys and teenage boys, and we've got to work out how we substitute the Andrew Tates of the world with proper leadership and inspiration, and hopefully collectively we can do that.
Yeah. Oh, let's hopefully then let's listen to some mentors on
listen to Mentor, and that will be a start.
Yeah. Joining us now is top media alumni and lady, I like to call her Lady Kathryn Jacob OBE, no less, CEO of cinema advertising contractor Pearl & Dean, and the president of Sawa, co-author of not 1 but 3 best-selling business books. Kathryn sits on the development board of RADA and acts as chair of Home in Manchester. Well, Lady Kathryn, hello and welcome. How are you?
I am inordinately well, and how lovely to be in a small room with you two.
Oh, it's so nice, isn't it?
Isn't it?
I mean, you needed notes for that intro, didn't you?
I needed notes for that intro because it's so long.
It's so
and
much.
Also, I was desperate to do the
Very
Kathryn.
good.
There we are.
Thank you.
Here we are.
Hello.
Pearl & Dean, Kathryn Jacob, how are you?
I'm really, really good. The sun's shining. I'm with you too.
thank God
Doesn't
it's
get better
warming
than
up.
that for a girl like me.
So should we kick off? Should we kick off our little chat?
Yeah.
Well, I think what we like to do is a big challenge to most guests that we interview is a career in 60 seconds, which I know is challenging, but we will give you a few seconds either way. Don't worry too much, but we'd love to hear.
Just don't bang on too much.
Just don't go on. Too
I mean, you
Should
don't.
we tell
not.
everyone not to go on?
So my career in 60 seconds. I've done lots of things. I've done a bit of television, bit of posters, cinema, radio, magazines, newspapers. Yeah, that's it. Done a lot of stuff.
You did a lot. Well, you did a lot of Virgin Media for me because weren't you in charge
Ginger
of,
Media Group.
Yeah, Ginger Media. Weren't you like in charge of 14 businesses at once? Or something?
I wasn't. I don't think it was 14. It just felt like 14 because if you worked for Chris Evans, it always felt like something was going off somewhere. So yeah,
I've got to say, it was. You think you sort of know something about someone, but then when you read your background, like what an incredible career of so many different things and
I
businesses
know.
and
I've got
a
a
different
very,
time.
very bad attention span, clearly. Either that or I get found out and everyone kind of moves me on.
Well,
after
also
a period
then,
of time.
but after this career, so also we'll come back to your books in a sec. But you found the space as well to write three amazing best-selling books. But also, I remember when you got your OBE for your work in promoting equality and diversity. We sat and had lunch, and you just said, wasn't really sure it was real."
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me.
Well, it was because you don't get so when you go and get your OBE, you get the kind of, stiff envelope and it feels like the
bit of weight.
poshest wedding invitation you're ever going to get in your entire life. But when it turned up, it was in a brown envelope and I thought it was a tax demand.
Another one.
Yeah, again. And so Ian, my husband, was working on a pitch abroad. So I had been out and the babysitter went home and there was all the post. And I opened the post and I thought, this is a bit weird. Because it's in a brown envelope, and the sentence is, the Prime Minister is minded to award you, and I thought this is clearly a wind up because
Where's
if
it
they're
asking
going
to
to
the
do
bank?
it, if they're going, yes, could you send us your bank account?
Yeah.
Yes. Yours sincerely, and I thought, this is just a wind up. So I messaged Ian and I said, "Are you awake?" Because it was like about 10:30. He messaged back and said, "Of course I'm awake. I'm in a pitch." I was like, okay. And so I phoned him and I read the note to him and he said to me, "Have you been drinking?" I said, "Well, I've had a couple of glasses of wine, but I don't think I'd make this up."
No.
He said, "I'll have a look at it when I see you at the weekend." And he looked at me and he said, "Well, I think it's genuine, but you can't phone anybody up because it says in the thing you can't discuss it with anybody.
Oh, wow.
You just have to fill it in and say whether you're accepting or not. And then you just have to keep it quiet."
Yeah.
I hope there was some more
ages.
contact before you didn't just you don't just roll up on the day, do you?
No. You then when you accept, you then get a note saying when it's
Right.
going to be and all of the kind of the background stuff, and then it just comes out in the newspaper.
Yeah.
And I remember the nicest thing for me was phoning my brother up then before the papers came out, and and my brother said, "I'm going to have to phone you back." And I thought, my God, I phoned him at the wrong time. And my brother's older than me. And my brother was in tears, which was just
sweet.
amazing. I know. My brother was in tears,
lovely.
which was just the best thing. So I didn't believe it had happened. And to this day, I still don't. I have a suspicion who I think nominated me. But she won't confirm or deny it.
Well, look, it's so well deserved. I think
Yeah.
it's very well known how you're such a pillar of our industry.
Yeah, maybe. But it's been one of those things which is, I think our industry is so amazing and I would like to open it up to as many people as possible. And I'm very lucky that I get to work with the other Lady Lloyd Barnes, Sharon Lloyd Barnes at the Ad Association doing All In, which, was just started as just kind of nothing. In terms of it was just a thing that we knew we had to have to keep, the lifeblood of advertising relevant and fresh for the people that we serve as kind of, ad agencies or media owners or media agencies.
It was like 19,000 signatures.
It was
last,
19,000. It
surveys?
was 16,000 the first year, 19,000.
Right, so, yeah.
And then, and it creates insights about changing inclusion actually from people's lived experiences, rather than people sitting there going, we're going to do some of this to include social mobility or what have you. And we're the only sector in the whole of the UK that's done it.
Wow.
You know, which is remarkable.
And the ambition is to make sure that everybody feels that they've got a voice and is heard and therefore belongs.
Yeah, it's so everyone feels they belong.
Yeah, yeah.
And because when you feel you belong somewhere, it's so different to feeling like you fit in.
Yeah. Well, you can thrive, can't you?
Yeah.
You feel like you can bring your whole self to work and you feel heard.
Well, bring your best self to work.
But
not necessarily your whole self.
Okay, no, you're all right. Yeah. Definitely.
A little bit of filtering.
Yes. tiny bit of filtering.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can be your best self at work, and you feel that whether you're extrovert, introvert, neurodiverse, you know, your black talent, your Asian talent, whatever, that this is an industry where that has a relevance and a saliency. And we care.
Yeah, I think there's a care part to it as well.
And I think the fact that over 100 companies now have signed in to be All In Champions, so they've taken those 9 actions across the 9 groups. You know, if I was going to work somewhere, I'd look and go, are they an All In Champion?
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I think's come out of when Sue and I have done book talks is a lot of people talk the talk, but they don't actually live those values.
Yeah. Too often.
Yeah.
What's amazing with these sort of asking people to sort of think back in 60 seconds is we do skip over an incredible amount of experience. But I think, you know, one thing that comes up, obviously our podcast is called Mentor, and we're always fascinated by how you've navigated through all of that. And I'm guessing Chris Evans' times are quite different to today's times. But you're a CEO, you're an OBE. Do you even need a mentor?
Of course you do.
How do you? Are there people you've turned to who's helped you? Like, I think the message of having a mentor is quite an important one.
Yeah, I think. Well, I have Sue Uniman in my life, and she and I have been friends for so long that we can't actually remember meeting each other. And she is the yin to my yang. You know, she is deeply thoughtful, very cerebral, introverted to my extroverted, but I have always had this relationship with Sue, which is, and I love my husband very much, but my husband is always on my side. Sue is the person who just says, well, you know, you should,
gives you
because
a bit of balance.
Yeah, she gives me balance. And so it's just this thing which, you know, I message and go, have you got 5 minutes?
Yeah.
I've got this or this. I've got A, B or C. And she'll just say, well, you know, you want to do B, and the reason why you want to do B, and I trust her implicitly, and because she's so different to me, and she comes at such a different angle, but I feel so psychologically safe with her, and I know she will always have my back. And so I've got Sue. And does she count as a mentor? I mean, she's like a peer, but she does count as a mentor.
They come in different forms then.
But the other thing as well is I work with just the nicest bunch of people. So, you know, I wouldn't be able to do my job without Claire and Jamie and Jenny and Mike and, you know, Gavin, all of those people I work with who sometimes you just sometimes you just, you know, apparently my favourite phrase is, I'm just running this past you.
Yeah.
But that whole thing where people who are living that experience with you can sometimes say, well, we could do it that way, and they bring their own perspective. Yeah. So I am kind of blessed with that as well. But also, I've talked to you in the past about stuff that's bothering me, Rachel. You know, just someone else who you know is that who you value and who you trust and you know has your best interests at heart, and who will. I know it's one of the things that Karen Stacey and I talk about sometimes, which is sometimes the hand at your back is one that you need to lean back on, and sometimes it's the hand at your back that shoves you forward to take you out somewhere.
I like that.
And that whole hand at your back where you know they've got you, but they also know you well enough to say, you've got this, and I don't know why you're listening to that stupid voice in your head that's going, no.
Yeah. And I think it is that. I think you talked about the word trust, isn't it? And I think with your team, it's nice that you are also running things past your team, because then they feel included and they feel valued. So there's with most mentors, there's a two-way pieces, isn't it, as well, that actually can help each other. What advice would you give to listeners about how, like, apart from your mates and your husband or your mum or your dad or
my parents would have been useless. My mum never understood what I did for a living.
No,
no.
When I started work at Pearl & Dean, I think my mum generally thought I sold pick and mix.
Yes.
She never had any idea at all.
No, I know. But how do you go around getting a mentor if it's not one of your friends or family?
Just ask someone.
Yeah.
So if you see someone on a podium and you think, I'd really like just to listen to them. I mean, I do it through Wackle, and I also do it through the Marketing Academy. Just email someone and say, I just want half an hour.
Yeah.
And turn up with the 3 things you want to know. Don't tell me your entire life story.
Yeah.
But 3 things you want to know. And they say, the 3 things I want to know from you are this, this and this.
Yeah.
And, I've had amazing people that I've met through the Marketing Academy, like, the amazing Kirsten, just great people who you kind of stay in touch with. Because the thing about being a mentor to someone is it doesn't have to be all the time.
No.
It's like and neither does it just have to be a one-off. It's kind of like mates that you'd phone up and go, what do you think?
Yeah.
I've always felt, I guess everyone's different, but I've always felt it's an organic, like, for me, what's worked is more organic. I think sometimes when you're put into that sort of structured, you must meet every 3 weeks and you must... That sometimes can...
That's therapy.
Yeah,
Marco, that's
slightly... Yeah. Luckily, I don't pay for it, so that's good.
Well, even better.
But I think that's something worth knowing, because if you... I talk to students and the Speakers for Schools thing, and I always say to them, you'll be amazed if you reach out to someone and say, hey, I want to get into whatever... Could you spare me half an hour to talk through? Like a majority of people will do it.
Yeah,
always.
They'll do it. But you don't think that necessarily. But it's good for people to know. That is the case. I think.
Yeah, I mean, it is that thing which is if you don't have half an hour to give to someone just to try and help them, then you're paying it forward, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's that paying it forward piece. I think that's like when we do the Wackle mentoring. I think it's an amazing scheme because you can sign up to 4 mentors. But I've often said to mine, going through particular decisions, or I said, listen, if you just want to give me a quick 5-minute call, and I think it is that when needed, or I've gone into this meeting, just need a bit of that. I suppose it's that hand, isn't it? Like I need a bit of that push or that confidence. And I think, we should all be paying it forward, because I've got to say, I mean, I've got 2 young daughters. I don't know what they're going to do in their lives, but to get into the industry, it's quite tough, and I think the more that we can pay it forward to people entering the industry, the better.
And don't underestimate your that environment you create at work where you are running people. There are especially, I think, more the sort of US culture where they feel like the boss has to be the boss, and I need to know the answer.
But you don't know everything. I mean, anybody who thinks they know everything is
100%
deluded. Or mad.
Absolutely.
Of course you don't.
Yeah. Actually, that's a really good segue into, we definitely don't know what we're doing all the time. And one thing that we do like to ask is, what was your biggest fuck up?
Oh, God.
Kathryn, or what did you learn from it? More to the point, what did you learn from it?
I am an inveterate giggler, so I have very big problems sometimes.
That's good to know.
Which is if something is slightly... I have had to do meetings where... I can't be in the eye line of Claire Turner or Mike Hope Milne. I've had to have the thing where I just look at the stage, because there is just a thing of I'm very bad at giggling. I can't and I also, if I really get it very badly, I snort, which is even worse. Which luckily, hopefully, I'm going to try and control myself from doing that. My biggest mess up was to be in a job where I was not right.
Right.
And I joined it, and then I joined the organisation, and it all seemed fine, and then there were some changes, and I just convinced myself that if I kept working hard enough, it would all be right.
Yeah.
And it never was going to be right. And Sue always describes it as my Mean Girls episode, which is, I was never going to get in that gang. I was never cool enough. I didn't wear pink on Wednesdays, and, that whole kind of thing. And it. And sometimes if things aren't right on a Sunday night, you start to think, oh, God.
Oh, yeah, that Sunday night.
that Sunday night feeling.
Yeah.
It started to happen to me on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And there is only so much you can do. And, you know, my bit of advice for everyone is just because where you are doesn't feel right, it might not be you, it might be them. And you
Very
can go
often.
somewhere else and feel like it's taking off a tight pair of shoes. You know, you've been walking along in them going, oh, God, yeah, they're just... ooh. You know that feeling when you take well,
The
obviously
relief
not.
of
the
taking them
relief
off.
of
Ski boots.
Yeah.
ski boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that ski boots thing,
Yeah.
which is the back of your legs hurt, but you go, oh God, I feel so much
Yeah,
better.
best feeling in the
Yeah.
world.
So it is the best feeling in the world
Yeah.
because you don't have that high level of kind of, well, not even high level, that low level stress the whole time, that cortisol running through your system, you know, which is wrong. And also, just think how much more productive we'd all be if we didn't spend our time pretending to be someone else to fit in somewhere that we're never going to fit in.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you as an organisation just want people to rock up, feel that they belong and just crack on with their work rather than have this vision which it's all, you know, and we've talked about particular cultures before, it's fight, win, achieve. You're only winning if, you know, what's that Gore Vidal quote? It's not enough to succeed, others must be seen to fail. That's not healthy.
No.
And I think there's a few like staying somewhere that you know the fit isn't right. I think you can throw into that, you know, for people who are in this situation, you know, taking a job where really money is the main factor over perhaps, you know, do you feel like this is the job you really want, or is it? And I think all these. It's easy to say later in the career, isn't it? But it is a bit harder in the moment where there's different pressures. But I think that, you know, that it's good to recognise, I think, that, you know, it could be them, not you.
Yeah.
And
also the other thing, it's good to recognise the fact that our lives are not always going to be a continual onward trajectory of triumph. And actually, the thing about messing up is what it teaches you is, A, you can get through it.
Yeah.
Because you will get through it. I mean, we're not saving people's lives here.
Yeah.
B, that, you know, you have the capability of addressing those situations. It makes you feel stronger. And, you know, resilience is a everyone talks about being resilient. You learn to be resilient. You can't teach yourself to be, you know, resilient.
You learn through experience.
But you learn through experience.
Yeah.
And what you do is, the key thing is to build up layers of that protect you but don't insulate you.
Yeah. Wasn't that part of the reason you wrote The Glass Wall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason why we wrote The Glass Wall was because, I mean, Sue and I have been friends since the Jurassic Age. And when we first started knowing each other, we were just surrounded by all these really brilliant women. And then it was just like, you know, 28 years later, or Day of the Triffids, we were having a gossip somewhere and a cup of tea. And then 10 minutes later we came out and all the women had gone. And it can't be that, I mean, obviously in Sue's case it is completely true that she is a genius and brilliant. But why was that?
Yeah.
And then that tapping into that was really interesting, because it was women feeling that they couldn't say, I have to leave at 4:30, you know, and having khaki bosses who do things like, you know, putting team meetings at 4 till 5 when they know working mums have to leave at 4:30.
Thanks for popping in.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
what is that?
Very popular one.
So annoying. And that whole thing about and then belonging came out of that, which is there's no point in us talking to women if men aren't in the room.
Yeah.
And enabling men to have that to allyship.
Yeah. Well, it's a really strong piece, isn't it? Because it's part of WACL. There's no point in WACL speaking to WACLers. You need male allies in the room to all, you know. And also, this is not just men that would put in 4:30 meetings. You know, this is women.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you know, women that are then get to the top, pull the ladder up. It's
and that whole thing about I managed with 43 nannies because my husband's blah, 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 blah. Yeah, just get over yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
And then, so you did Glass Wall, then Belonging, and then the current one around creativity.
Yes.
Now that's so are you still doing your book tours on?
Oh, we're everywhere.
Yeah.
Pop up. Harvard Business
Available
Review.
to book.
Available to book. Yeah, we're in the Harvard Business Review. Very pleased about that.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I know. Thank you very much, Bloomsbury US, for that. If you ever want to publish a business book, by the way, Bloomsbury, lovely people.
Yeah.
Thank you. Year of Creativity came out the fact that we live in a world which is now increasingly dominated by left-brain thinkers, partly, and everyone's talking about how AI is going to eat your job. No. What you should do is, if you hate it, automate it, but it's not going to take your job because everyone's got the same data. It's about how you take that data and turn it into something else. And the other thing as well is creativity is another form of elitism, which is, a well-known trope. But when your girls were little and they do a picture and it was what looked like you only have one arm and one leg and a hair here and an ear there. And sorry, for those of you who are listening on a podcast, I am demonstrating the, Picasso-esque vision your children have of you. And you look at it, you go, darling, that's amazing. Yeah. Why is it by the time we get to be 11 that it's like you're only creative if you're really, really good at drawing? It's like me saying to you, Mark, I'm really sorry, you can never go skiing again because you're never actually going to compete in the men's alpine downhill. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. You're not, or football, you can't do that anymore. Yeah. You're not allowed to do that anymore. Yeah. It's so all true. Just... So why do we allow that to happen? And why has it become that only certain people have access to creativity? And you've only got to look at the explosion of things like, user-generated content, etc., to see that everyone has creativity within them. Yeah. Mostly in certain circumstances, best absorbed by their close friends and family rather than the wider world. But why do we shut that down?
Yeah.
Well, that's been. I mean, if that's really the basis for influencer marketing, creator marketing, whatever you talk about, that exploded after the pandemic because suddenly people are like, okay, I'm stuck at home. I'm going to just do something. Yeah. And what it revealed was, I think it took away the gatekeepers of creativity and allowed people to just go, I'm just going to do my own thing.
And also the other thing as well about allowing people space in meetings to... All too often, if you're having kind of those amazing brainstorming sessions with Sharpies and, a pile of Post-it notes, and they go, Marco, we're going to re-envisage the world of audio globally. We've got 3 hours. Oh, give me a break. No, we're not. We're sitting in a conference room in a really overheated hotel just outside Windsor. None of us want to be here, and none of these ideas, it's not going to happen. But the thing about, I've definitely been in meetings to plot the way forward. Not where I work now, clearly, but in the past, where everyone's said an idea and then everyone's just looked at the most important person in the room to go, does he like it? Yeah. And what you end up is a vision of what the future is. They may as well just have told you rather than wasted 3 hours in a bunch of Post-it notes. Yeah. You just get, or you get lowest common denominator idea making because no one wants to go, actually, that's not very good.
And what happens, so I'm always interested because, there's various books out there, clearly less successful than yours. What happens your end? Do you get feedback? Do people write to you? How do you, what happens when you put that
when
book
you do
out
a book?
Yeah.
No, people don't write to you, ironically. It just
comes up in conversation.
It comes up in conversation. You get asked to do talks. It just kind of goes out into the. Yeah. It just kind of goes out into the ether. I mean, the only idea, you judge by how many people like whatever people post about you on LinkedIn. And the other thing is you have to do the game thing of kind of playing the Amazon, get everyone to review it and give it a 5-star review to shove you up. And Sue and I've failed miserably at that. So you can kind of game that whole thing, but we don't. We write the books because it's a flimsy excuse to hang out together, for an extended period of time. But also it's a point of view. And if we help, even if in the glass wall we help 3 women, it was worth it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Belonging. If we change 3 people to think differently about the way that they approach their colleagues, that's enough.
And also it's a legacy as well because those books are going to be around for a long time because they're still super relevant, aren't they, to whatever. And so I'm just interested in something again we ask our guests because obviously you're spinning a lot of plates, you've got you've got everything going on. How do you survive? Have you got a favourite work hack? I mean, one of our guests gets up at 5 a.m. We're not suggesting you join the 5 a.m.
We're
club.
anti.
We can't really do the well. I don't know what
I am.
Oh yeah, I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't get up at 5 a.m. But what do you have how do you survive? And
Because I work
thrive.
with brilliant people.
Right, that's your work hack is work with brilliant people.
My work hack is work with brilliant people.
Yeah.
You know, and have a bunch of people who, when it feels like it's getting too much, will put a hand on your arm and go, I think you just need to. I think you just need to calm down a bit.
Breathe.
Let's just
breathe.
Get overexcited. I think that I have I really like working.
I was going to say, because I feel when I think about Kathryn Jacob, I think about fun and passionate about our industry. And I think that oozes through. And that's probably what gets you through. You love our industry.
I love our industry. It's full of brilliant people. I mean, for God's sake, I get paid to watch films for a living.
I mean, I know.
It's not like it's not like. I mean, I personally think I have, one of the best jobs.
You absolutely do.
So why would I be going, oh, woe is me? It's all just, and I'm really lucky because the person who owns our company is really interested but isn't interfering.
Yeah.
And is supportive. So I'm, I am brutally aware, touch wood, of how lucky I am in so many ways. But it's your job to kind of, if someone's having a bit of a tough time, get behind them, put their hand on their back and go, what can I take off you?
Yeah.
Have you had a time in your career where things haven't been so rosy and you've had to sort of manage your way through that?
Oh, God, yeah. Of course. I mean, but the thing about it is we will survive it.
Yeah.
That's the important thing is that so much of the time is sometimes it's just putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah. And I think doing it in the most human way you can.
Yeah.
Because, look, life, throws you lemons or whatever. And it's like, well, how do you navigate choppy waters in the most human way you can? And I think that's what
And the other thing as well is if things are a bit tricky, be open about the fact that, I would be mortified if I thought that someone within P&D was having a hard time and didn't feel able to go, because, I think I've used this analogy before, and which is that good teams are like a pack. It's a bit like a peloton. Sometimes there's someone at the front who's taking all the wind pressure and everyone else is behind. You can take it in turns. You don't have to be at the front of the pack all the time.
Yeah.
And actually that thing of putting someone else at the front of the pack just for a tiny period of time for them is a learning experience.
Yeah.
And they know they can drop back, but that's what you do.
Yeah.
You operate as a whole, and you operate as a kind of and you look after each other.
Yeah.
Actually, and it is the thing which is we should not be so fragile that if one person is having a bit of a difficult time, we don't have the capability to support them and or the world company.
I mean, don't underestimate that environment you've created because that is definitely not the same in many different
No, I know,
businesses.
but I've only ever worked there. I've worked there
that
for
reflects,
the past God knows how long.
Reflects on you.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't because you can't create a culture on your own. You can only create a culture with the people who are around you. Doesn't matter what you and I have, we've all experienced places where people go, and this is what our values are and this is who we are. And you go, well, you're saying that, but everyone I'm encountering here isn't like that at all.
I think you do need to give yourself a little bit of credit there, though, because when you even talk about your leadership style, you talk about serve to lead. Yeah. So I think it's of course it's from the culture of the whole place, but you often do set that tone from the top. And I think,
but that is my job.
Yeah, but not because not everybody can do that.
I'm there to make the trains run on time. I'm not there to, I'm there to support and advise and guide and offer a reflection point for people. But also your other job is to get people to be their best selves, to give them the tools and the confidence and the capabilities to have the career that they deserve. Yeah. Rather than sit on people because they threaten your, and that's it. And maybe it's, I don't know, it's just a thing.
Yeah.
Have you over the years, is there anything you've picked up, we call it a Magpie moment, picked up from someone else that has helped you, or you've thought, oh, that's good, I'm going to
steal that idea?
Oh, God, so much. I mean, how long have you got? We haven't got long enough. Loads and loads of stuff, because you look at other people and you think, oh, that's really clever the way they do that, or that's really clever the way that they do that. So lots of stuff, and just sometimes just different ways of thinking or what have you.
Yeah, we often say steal with pride.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to steal with pride.
Steal with pride.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because also the other thing is if you see someone doing something that you think,
exactly.
that must be good.
Yeah.
Because they nick that.
Yeah.
Just lots of things. Many things.
But it can be, those sorts of things are also, they're not just, sayings or quotes, but it's actually how, there's someone who's coming up on our podcast. I won't say it just in case they don't make it. But
they won't cancel you.
I watched him and over the years, and I was just always amazed by, under extreme amounts of pressure, and managed to keep smiling and keep, and I always sort of looked at that and thought that is really impressive, because we've all felt stressed and under the cosh, and I always used to hold on to that and think, I've got to try. I think I failed many times, but I've got to try and think like that, because...
But sometimes you can and sometimes you can't.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I
definitely
failed.
And there is nothing wrong with saying, I'm finding it a bit difficult at the moment.
Yeah.
Because you would be surprised at the support that you will get from people, and the recognition of people who've been in a similar position who said, oh God, that happened to me. Have you thought about, because I did this and then that happened. And sometimes when you're in that stress state, it's so hard to get your thoughts in order. And then you start feeling even more lost, because you think, oh my God, I don't know the solution. And sometimes in certain situations there isn't a solution. You just got to sit and wait.
Yeah. Be a bit patient. Yeah.
Because we do try and leap to the, it's all going to be fine by then. Well, sometimes it might not be.
Yeah.
And you just have to, do what you can.
Yeah, no, exactly. Oh, I can't. We're going to be coming to the end soon, and I need to make sure, definitely ask you that it's that usual question of what would you tell your younger self, or is there one piece of advice that's really taken you through your career, or just something that really resonated that you'd love to pass on to the listeners?
I think it is the thing of, if where you are now doesn't feel right, it's not you. It might just be where you are, and that you just have a bit of faith in yourself, because it's all too often to do that comparative thing of, I was at so-and-so and he's now God of everything and I'm not that, and I'm failing, and so-and-so and so-and-so. All you can do is look after yourself and the people in your, and the people who are around you. And so much of what I've got back in what I do, from, of people, is just by being human. Be kind to people. You don't need to be horrible to people to get on. No. You don't have to tread on other people. And anybody who is treading on you has got an issue with their sense of self. It's not that, and there is so much opportunity in this industry that if at the moment you're sitting somewhere and going, this doesn't feel right, then go and find something else, because there will be somewhere here that is right for you in this.
Try on another pair of shoes.
Try on another. Take your ski boots off and pop on your Uggs. Or maybe it's not. Transition from a ski boot to an Ugg to maybe I don't know a
pair of stilettos.
No. Let's not talk about Marco's shoe habits. We weren't going to talk about
red stilettos.
But they are Christian Louboutin, so of course. And I think there is a thing which is, as long as you're trying your best, and and you're not being horrible to people, everything will probably be all right.
Yeah.
And if it isn't, and you're still struggling, Marco and Rachel have got my email. Come and have a chat with me. I'll give you a cup of tea and a chocolate biscuit, and it'll all be all right.
Oh, Kathryn,
what a brilliant end.
That is so lovely. We were so thrilled to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
So many amazing bits that I've picked up there. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, Marco, we are into our final segment of our podcast. And, you know, I like to have a bit of pearls of wisdom, and I like to read.
Very good at pearls of wisdom. Very good.
I take on this because I think we can learn from our guests. We can also learn from other people. And I do like this book, If I Could Tell You Just One Thing, by Richard Reed. He founded Innocent Drinks. This particular one was when he met Bear Grylls, and I think it's a good one for our podcast, really. And he says, it is not the most masculine, macho, or the ones with the biggest muscles who win. It's those who look after each other, who remain cheerful in adversity, who are kind and persistent and positive. These are the characteristics that help you not just to survive life, but to enjoy it. And I think actually that's what we heard from Kathryn, didn't we, today? And they're nothing to do with gender. The people who are successful are just the ordinary ones that just go that little bit further, who give a little more than they are asked to, and who live within that extra 5%. That's very good. Do you live in the extra 5%, Marco?
Good advice. I try to, yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay, well,
20% of the time.
Well, hopefully that gives a little bit of advice at the end to our listeners.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was great. Mentor is a Viral Tribe entertainment production. And don't forget to give us a follow on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify.
Join us next week for more pearls of wisdom from Mentor.